Cleopatra, the last queen of incest and empire. She is remembered as the queen who seduced Caesar and died by a serpent's kiss. But Cleopatra the was more than a symbol of beauty and betrayal. She was the final ruler of a doomed dynasty, one forged by conquest, sustained by incest, and destroyed by ambition. Before Rome swallowed Egypt, before Antony's sword and Caesar's passion, Cleopatra's greatest inheritance was not gold or glory, but a bloodline twisted by generations of sibling marriage, paranoia, and murder. A dynasty of incest. Cleopatra was born in 69 BCE as the latest heir to the Ptolemaic dynasty, founded by Ptolemy I, a general of Alexander the Great. The Ptolemies were Macedonian Greeks who ruled Egypt for 300 years, absorbing Egyptian customs, including incestuous royal marriages. For the Ptolemies' power was not passed through the people, it was preserved in the blood, and to keep it pure, they married sisters, nieces, and sometimes their own daughters. Examples: Ptolemy II, Philadelphus, married his full sister, Arsinoe II. Ptolemy IV married Arsinoe III, his sister. Cleopatra's father, Ptolemy XII Auletes, may have married a sibling too. By Cleopatra's birth, incest was not scandal, it was statecraft. The blood of the Ptolemies had folded in on itself for centuries. Cleopatra the Scholar. Cleopatra was unusually educated for a royal woman, spoke at least 7 to 9 languages, including Egyptian, unlike previous Ptolemies, studied astronomy, philosophy, medicine, and rhetoric, tutored in both Greek and Egyptian traditions. She was not just a queen, she was a thinker, ruler, trained to use knowledge as power, and she would need it all, because her family was preparing to devour itself. Married to a child. When her father died in 51 BCE, Cleopatra, at 18, married her 10-year-old brother, Ptolemy XIII, as required by law. The quarrel was unstable. Cleopatra refused to be controlled by palace officials. She was queen by blood, but in a palace crawling with intrigue, ambition was a threat. Soon, Ptolemy's advisors ousted Cleopatra. She fled to Syria, raised an army, and prepared for civil war. Caesar and the Civil War. In 48 BCE, Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria, chasing his rival, Pompey, who was executed by Ptolemy's men. Cleopatra famously had herself smuggled into Caesar's quarters, wrapped in a rug or bedding. It was no seduction, it was strategy. Cleopatra knew Caesar was her key to reclaiming the throne. Caesar backed Cleopatra. War broke out between her and Ptolemy XIII. Alexandria burned. Part of the library of Alexandria was lost. Ptolemy XIII drowned in the Nile while fleeing. Her brother husband was gone, but the dynasty's demands remained. Another brother, another throne. Cleopatra married another brother, Ptolemy XIV, age 12. Around the same time, she gave birth to a son, Caesarion, Little Caesar. Though Caesar never publicly acknowledged him, Cleopatra named Caesarion her co-ruler, a divine child, Roman by blood, Egyptian by destiny. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra returned to Egypt. Ptolemy XIV died shortly after, likely poisoned by Cleopatra. In the Ptolemaic court, blood was thicker than water, and just as easily spilled. Cleopatra as Isis. Cleopatra styled herself as Isis reborn, the goddess wife of Osiris. Antony and Caesar were seen as her Osiris, divine partners. She led religious festivals, gave alms, built temples to her people. She was not just queen, she was sacred. In life, she ruled as a goddess. In death, she would be remembered as myth. Mark Antony and the Children of the Sun and Moon. Cleopatra met Mark Antony in 41 BCE. They became lovers and had 3 children: Alexander, Helios, the sun; Cleopatra, Selene, the moon; Ptolemy, Philadelphus. Cleopatra and Antony divided the Eastern Empire between them. Their love was real, their alliance dangerous. For in Rome, whispers grew louder. Octavian, future Augustus, declared war on Cleopatra, portraying her as a seductress who had bewitched Antony and threatened Rome's future. War with Rome. In 31 BCE, the decisive battle of Actium ended in disaster for Antony and Cleopatra. They retreated to Alexandria, where Antony committed suicide, believing Cleopatra was dead. Cleopatra's final move would not be surrender. She would die a pharaoh. Cleopatra died by poison, not a snake bite, most likely a concoction of opium and hemlock. Caesarion was captured and executed by Octavian. Thus died the final heir of divine blood, and with him, Egypt's 3,000-year-old monarchy. The end of the divine incest. The Ptolemies had practiced incest for nearly 300 years. Cleopatra's rule was the last echo of a belief that gods ruled through blood kept within the family. The Ptolemies believed they were gods, but their bodies bore the cost. Infertility, violence, madness. Their dynasty was glorious and doomed. Cleopatra the Seventh was many things: a lover, a scholar, a queen, a mother, a goddess, but above all, she was the last pharaoh, the last to rule by blood divine. The last two were the cobra crown. Her legacy survives, not in empire, but in legend. And so ends the tale of incest and empire, the blood of the gods, washed away by the river of history.